think it's great that we've got a roadmap and it's sort of clear what the various sort of trigger points are for the next stage being reached. I think it's a little bit risky, the announcement of specific dates, because I think everyone is going to pin everything on those dates, and I think it, is reading between the lines of certain things have to be achieved for those dates actually to be real. So I do think there's a risk of customers getting very excited, travel agents, tour operators getting very excited, airlines getting bookings in, and then having to go through the whole pain of cancelling, rearranging, if those triggers aren't achieved in time for those dates. So I do think there's a little bit of, I'm surprised they were so clear with the dates. I think it's great if we can get international travel going again by the 17th of May, all to the good, but I have a little bit of cautious optimism. That said, certainly customer bookings, and we actually started seeing a real uplift in customer bookings for this year at the back end of last week. So I think all the leaks around what was going to be said have given people more confidence. I do think that the number of vaccinations, of first vaccinations delivered, and the fairly aggressive timetable for vaccinations is helping give that confidence. But we're not seeing lots of bookings coming in for May and June, to be honest. June a little bit, but it's as we go further into the year, that's where we're seeing a significant increase in bookings versus what we've had in recent months. We're still not back to the volumes we would expect in a normal February, but that said, it's good to see it coming. It's good to see some consumer confidence, but I do think we're going to need to hit those milestones before people are really truly confident to travel. And the other bit linked to all of that is the ongoing question over a vaccine passport, and I think that is going to be needed as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask you guys about the vaccine passport later. Giles, do you think that overall, though, perhaps we did need this date of the 17th of May to be able to kind of instill that consumer confidence to result in this busy sort of booking period the last couple of days?
I think at one level, it's very helpful to have a date because people have a view that after that date, I will be able to travel. As I say, it's a cautious optimism I have, because I think anyone booking close to that 17th of May does risk disappointment.
Naturally, yesterday was always going to be a busy day. Lots of phone calls coming into the agents, particularly from the customers who have got March, April, May departures, trying to get them moved, maybe cancelling, getting refunds. So extremely busy with those customers. But I am pleased to say that we did actually see an increase in bookings yesterday, and it was around about 50% from the same day last week. So it is still from a very low base, and I think that has to be taken into account. So 50% sounds like a good increase, but it's from low numbers anyway. So, but what we did see yesterday is we did see a sort of shift in where customers are making inquiries for. So last week, summer 21 was only really receiving around about 13% of the total sales that we were doing, whereas yesterday it did actually jump to 30% of the bookings that were done. So we've seen an increase there.
We always said, look, we cannot borrow our way through another summer, and that's both aviation, airlines, but also the tour operator side of things. And I think it's just given some confidence both to consumers, but also to the sector, that we will have some revenue coming in this year that can hopefully replenish some of those balance sheets. But there's a huge amount of work to do, and obviously we've got the task force, and April the 12th is not that long away, and that needs to deliver a piece of work that the Prime Minister will sign off on and say, yes, I think this is sustainable, it's going to work. Ultimately, it needs to be something that's going to work, and crucially, that will work with more passengers than we've had in the last 12 months. It's easy to come up with a system potentially that's caters to 10% of passengers, but we want to see that volume increase. So really, the hard work starts now.
I think it's important for us to know, while decisions are being made that's going to affect our livelihoods, our businesses, all of our staff, we need to know what the process is for decisions being made, who's involved in making those decisions. And I honestly believe there need to be people from the industry, as well as sort of official people from the government, from civil service. There need to be people from the industry who understand how things work to help come up with the correct recommendations that are practical and usable. I have a view that the last task force I don't, you know, apparently there were companies consulted, travel companies consulted, but what was actually taken from their consultation, what was done with it, I have absolutely no idea. I also think the last task force was 8 months too late in starting. And actually, it's been a bit of a wasted time between the last task force being disbanded and this one being sort of reinvigorated. All the thinking could have been ongoing, even during complete lockdown. We could have been a lot further forward than we are.